Good afternoon, everyone. Of course, it's Aaron Smith here from Dyslexia Box. Hope everyone is well. Hopefully, you're enjoying our free webinar session today. Lots of amazing content we've had so far. We've seen some amazing people join us. Welcome. Just want to press the little hands up button. Make sure some of you can hear me on the little control panel. These are the delegates. That's brilliant. That's good. I can see some hands going up. That's most appreciated. It's always good to know that people can hear me. I'm really looking forward again to another session here. I'm not very knowledgeable about Dragon and medical, so I'm really looking forward to listening to this session. We've had some amazing speakers, but let's just talk about it a little bit. Just to remind you, Dyslexia Box, the all-round disability company, we offer services for pan disability in the workplace, everything from the assistive technology, including the assessment and the diagnostic, and also then the coaching and the training for the products itself. Do check us out at dyslexiabox.co.uk. An amazing array of speakers, and of course we've got Darren with us from Auditional, and then we've got two other sessions afterwards. We have Donna Stevens from the British Dyslexia Association at 3, and then we have Claro at 4 o'clock with Mary Wilcox. Going to have a really good afternoon with our 3 current speakers that's going on. If you want to find out more, you want to ask us any questions, email hello@dyslexiabox.co.uk. So I'm now going to unmute Darren. How are you, Darren? Are you all right?
Oh, very good, Aaron. How are you?
I'm getting there. I think it's been an amazing day. So I've just shared your screen if you want to share it for us.
Okay.
So
There we go.
I can see it now. So I'm going to be quiet and hand over to Darren. Over to you.
Okay, and we just get rid of this. How do I get rid of this other pane here? Hide
just
control panel.
Press the little orange arrow.
There you go. Got it.
There you go.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Aaron, for the introduction. Hello to everybody. I hope you're all safe and well out there. I've been asked today to speak to all of you about the benefits of using speech recognition, and primarily the Dragon Medical Practice Edition option. Just to explain and show you how it can be used in applications and your patient record systems, and make you all as happy as the people on this slide. So if we move through hang on, that's not what we want to do. Can't press space then.
Click on the screen and then you should be able to press space.
Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, I will show you how the product works. But I'll also before that, I just want to share with you some figures that Nuance have gathered from a survey that they conducted with healthcare providers across the UK. And what's clear from there is the amount of time that documentation takes up in everyone's daily life. So the volume, the backlog, and the time that creating documentation for each patient takes. And so speech recognition and Dragon Medical has been used and is continuing to be used and adopted by doctors and healthcare professionals all across the country to help reduce that backlog time and how much time it takes to create all of those letters and reports, referrals and diagnoses into patient systems. So it's clear, everyone wants to treat more patients. They want waiting times to be reduced, but along with every single patient that's seen and treated becomes documentation. So we need to find a way of reducing the time that it all takes, and that's the problem that Dragon Medical helps to solve. So the use of speech has been widely used in healthcare for decades now. So going back many years, people would have used an analog tape, and then the doctors would have dictated the referral letter, the diagnosis on a tape that would have been passed to the secretary, and then the secretary would then type that up. And we're looking at weeks, if not months, believe it or not, for the time when the doctor finished seeing that patient, dictates the letter, and then the letter actually being printed after it's been typed by the secretary. That then process sped up a lot when we moved from analog tapes to digital dictation, where we can get things done a lot faster, but we're still hampered by this delay in when the doctor then finishes that letter and it then being typed by somebody else. And again, it can be done quickly, but it's quite common to go into a GP practice department in a hospital, private hospitals, and things taking days or weeks in some cases to be done. What we've also seen, and what's becoming certainly very common over the last few years, is the requirement for the doctors and nurses to enter information directly into the patient system themselves. So some work is still being typed and formal letters are being produced, but then other work is they might see a patient and then they have to go to the patient record and then start typing in the diagnosis into that. Now, we have a variety of different typing speeds across all sort of medical professionals, and those people that are not fast typers sit there with their two fingers plucking away. One of the hidden negatives of that is not just that it takes them longer to enter that information, is that it also, if they're not fast with how they're typing, the information they're going to put into the system, it will be brief. They're not going to be as detailed and expressive with the diagnosis and what they've seen and what they think, because they're now having to type it themselves. Using speech recognition frees that all up, and most people in the sort of the healthcare market, I've either had some sort of experience of using dictation, so they're used to being able to create the sentences and the diagnosis in their head and then verbally speaking it. So moving to speech recognition is a very, very natural step. And then outside of just dictating directly into the EMR, we've also got use of other applications. But from here, we've gone from the old-fashioned tape with dictations or letters taking weeks to produce to now using speech recognition either into the patient record system or directly into a Word document, and that all being completed in minutes. And as I said, the main thing about using speech recognition is to save time. That's the whole purpose of it. So Dragon Medical Practice Edition itself is the medical focused version from Nuance. So Nuance are a market-leading speech recognition software developer. They have been for several decades now, and the Dragon Medical Practice Edition is their medical version. There are other versions, but this is the one that really is the only one to consider for any medical professionals. And that's because it includes all the medical terminology and medicine names that are required for what's being spoken. So there are over 60 different specialist vocabularies. So there is a general medicine one if you're a GP, but there's all of the other specialities, easy for me to say, allowing you so that every medicine name and that terminology that's being dictated is entered correctly into the document, into the letter, into the report to help you save time. If you're using another version, say the professional version, those terminologies and medicine names are not included, and then you've got to spend extra time having to train those words, which is not the point. So Dragon Medical Practice Edition is also fully supported in the patient systems that are being used in the healthcare industry. So in the GP market space, we have EMIS and System 1, who are the common systems that are used at every practice. So you can use Dragon Medical Practice Edition directly into those systems. And then within hospitals, there are literally hundreds of different patient record systems. Again, Dragon Medical is fully supported, and you can dictate directly into those systems. Now, outside of the medical systems, you can also use Dragon Medical in other applications. So at a basic level, you need to think of speech recognition as replacing your keyboard. So wherever you can put the cursor and type something, you'll better use Dragon Medical to create text. So you can go to your referral letters and your reports in Outlook, in Word, in browsers, and use Dragon Medical to create that text a lot faster. One question I get asked all the time as well is about accents. So if I'm helping a partner with a demonstration, I might say, oh, that's okay, I can see it's very accurate with your voice, but I have doctors from all around the world here. So because that's quite a common theme in hospitals all around the world, Nuance have developed the Dragon Medical Engine to have a really high level of support for English to be spoken in various different accents. So that's not a problem for Dragon Medical. And then finally, one of the other big points about Dragon Medical is that any sound file that has been recorded during the course of the dictation for the patient, the sound file is encrypted. And now everyone in the healthcare industry obviously has an obligation to protect patient data, and Dragon Medical does encrypt anything that's been recorded as part of the dictation. So that kind of does it for the presentation. I really wanted to move on to the live demonstration as quickly as possible. So what I want to show you is how we can use Dragon Medical in Word, in email, in a sort of a pretend patient record system. And I'll show you how we can just enter in some speech recognition and then use some other features which are auto text and commands to be able to help speed up the process of creating those letters and reports, and using commands to help control applications and create text faster. So I just quickly flip to a blank Word document here. Dragon Medical is actually running here. This is the interface with Dragon Medical. And currently that's got a red microphone icon, and that just shows me that my microphone is not on. It's not listening to how I'm speaking. Today I'm using a headset because I'm obviously talking to you on a webinar as well, but I would normally be using some sort of handheld microphone for use within Dragon. So there are manufacturers, I think Philips were on a session earlier today. So Philips make a product called the Speech Mic, and then there's other similar devices from Nuance, Grundig, and Olympus. They're all products that are designed for speech recognition and dictation, in fact. And then you can press the record button on the device, and then that turns the microphone on and off. So let me just start off with some basic dictation straight into a Word document. I'm now dictating directly into a Word document using DMPE. Full stop. Okay, so there's an error. Excellent. I was hoping there'd be an error. I'll quickly show you as well how to make a correction here. Correct dictating dive. Now, by using that command, it comes up with an option that it could possibly be, but obviously I didn't say that very clearly. So I'll just record over that, dictating directly, and that's going to replace that. Now, what you've also seen is when I dictated DMPE, which is what we call Dragon Medical Practice Edition, when I said DMPE, it actually spelt out the whole word. So that's obviously a really useful feature within any industry, specifically as well the healthcare industry, so that I can use abbreviations, but then the documentation actually has everything spelt out. So as well as just being able to go into anywhere, talk, say the text, we can also use some auto text. So that might be a sentence or a paragraph of information that is used on a regular basis. Now, rather than having to type that in or say it every single time, we can give that command and we can drop that text in. Dragon normal heart, Dragon normal chest, Dragon normal lungs. Here we go. So I have some information here which is already set up in Dragon, and then when I say those commands, it then drops that text in. And that's a very simple but a very effective way of helping to create information and reports where lots of information is being done or stated on a regular basis, and we can just drop that in. Now we can also have commands to open up documents and move around. So let me just open something else here. Open medical letter. So I have a pretend letter here, which might be a referral letter. And maybe this is a letter that's been generated by the patient system. So it's pulled in the patient name and reference number and date of birth. And then it's left for me to, as the consultant in this case, to be able to just dictate a letter to a referring doctor for them to look after my case. Next field. Mr. O'Brien, new paragraph. I'm now dictating directly into a Word document and showing how easy it is to move around a document using the field tabs. Full stop. Okay, so with those square tabs there, I'm able just to move around, so we can use all of your existing documentation. You haven't got to suddenly start doing everything differently. Dragon will just work with your existing processes and then go into different Word documents here and freely dictate information. Now, what I'll just do as well, we'll just show you how we can do it in this pretend medical system. Open my EMR. So here's an example here of how we might be able to do an assessment on a patient, and we can use commands to help move around the system. This could be replicated in most other systems as well. So if I just crack on with this 35-year-old patient complains of pain in the lumbar region after injuring her back 5 days ago, full stop. The patient is stiff, which makes walking difficult and is not sleeping very well, full stop. The patient has a history of COPD with no current symptoms, full stop. New paragraph. Insert pain scale 6. Go to objective. Insert normal exam. Okay, so far I've been able to just move around to the field for this patient. I've entered in some free text. I've then used an auto text, and I've gone down here and we've also got an assessment. So in this example here, it's also included lots of standard things. Everything's fine. So just for this example, there might just be one area here that I just need to adjust. Next field. The spine is tender above L4, full stop. There is limited leg movement with radiating pain down both legs, full stop. Accept defaults. New paragraph. Show image. The MRI of the lumbar spine shows some sacral compression in the L5-S1 region. Switch to Nuance EMR. Transfer text. Go to assessment. Lumbar strain plan after injury, comma, patient muscle strain plan will be provided. Go to plan. Muscle strain plan. Okay, so I've just sort of run through this as an example. We're using free text, auto text. We've got a command there that switched to another application so the doctor can see the x-ray. It then had a little hidden window so we can just continue to dictate without interfering with the x-ray. And then we've come back to the patient system. And then once I've done that, sign report, that's now clicked and that's gone off. And then sort of the last element I just wanted to show you was email. Email is obviously a very commonly used system here. So let me just show you how we can quickly do that. Darren Maundrell, subject field, DMPE demonstration, next field, body field, dear Mr. Maundrell, comma, new paragraph. Thank you very much for your time today and attending our session, full stop. I hope you found it useful and I look forward to helping you in the future, full stop. New paragraph. As requested, comma, here are the benefits of using Dragon Medical, colon, new line. Insert Dragon Medical benefits. If there is anything else that you require, comma, please call me on 01234 567 8910. Scratch that. 89. Okay, so within here, I've just used some voice commands. I mean, I make the point as well, you don't have to use voice commands to move everything around. You know, I did use speech recognition to create the subject, but some people are just comfortable just typing shorter text themselves. That's fine, no problem. And then I was able just to dictate freely in a normal way. I put in some standard text. I put in some different details, and then I'll send that all off. So let me just flip back to the presentation here. The purpose there, and I hope I was able to demonstrate it sort of well enough. The point of speech recognition is to save time. It's not to be massively complicated. So what we're able to do is to go to all of your existing methods of working, whether it's to use Word templates to make referral letters, whether everything is done in your patient system, or outside of those things, you also want to refer to or use emails. Anywhere that you're required to input text and you want to do it faster, Dragon Medical Practice Edition will help you do all of that. Dyslexia Box, obviously the reseller that we've partnered with here, this is their event. You are able to get a 14-day pilot from them. So if anyone here wants to be able to test this software, just check that it works in the system, or they want to check the accuracy for themselves, then that's all possible. And then also for all attendees of this event, Dyslexia Box are offering a 10% discount on Dragon medical licenses for any orders that are placed before the 11th of December. So you should contact, I don't know if you guys already have Andy Heath's contact details. I think, I don't know if Aaron's going to make them available, but if you contact Andy Heath at Dyslexia Box, Andy at Dyslexia Box, then he'll be able to help you with all the pricing and arranging trials and any information like that. So that concludes my sort of very straightforward demonstration of Dragon Medical. And so I don't know if there's any questions there, Aaron, that I can help answer.
There is a few questions coming in, but I want to say that I forget how I've been a Dragon user in the past, and I have used some of the functionality that's built into Dragon, and I forget how powerful it can be sometimes when you only may use certain parts of it. But that presentation really showed how powerful speech to text can be. I'm definitely it's just definitely amazing how you can do that. So we have got some questions, and this one probably is more general rather than about medical. And it says that I use Dragon,
yes,
but I have some, but I have to save many times just in case. It auto saves to a Dragon format, DRA, and I cannot open this on my laptop because it doesn't support the format. Is there a way around this?
Just repeat that again.
Okay, so they're a Dragon user.
Is it in the chat? Can I read it?
No, I can see if I can try.
No. Okay. No, carry on. Yeah, they're a Dragon user. Yeah.
They're a Dragon user. And basically they have to keep saving what they're using because it auto saves to a DRA and they cannot open this on their laptop. Is there a way around it?
Okay. Well, firstly, it's I don't know what version of Dragon they're using, so that would be interesting, and also whether they're using it as a what we call back-end recognition. So what I've shown you today is all front-end. So I'm talking and words appear on the screen, which is the best way to use speech recognition. There's also a way that you can record a sound file, like a dictation, and then give it to Dragon. Dragon then turns it into text, and then someone has to then proofread that. And that's normally where it saves it as a DRA file. But that is the DRA obviously is short for Dragon. So that is a format for Dragon to be able to well, that's a recording for Dragon. So it's some sort of Dragon file that you need to open in Dragon.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking that when I listened to it a few minutes ago, I was like thinking, are they using that? It may be good. So what I may do is say that the
guys at Dyslexia Box will be able to solve that one for sure. They'll know.
Drop Andy an email. Andy will be able to help it, and if we can't, we can definitely find a way forward for you on that. So
okay.
Right, so this question is actually about Dragon Medical. So it says, "Hi, great presentation and product. I am dyslexic. I have experience of using Dragon Medical at my NHS hospital. It's great.
Fantastic.
However, that's that. However, that's the thing. More time is needed per patient in clinic as you are doing work currently done by the secretary to dictate, correct,
that's true,
and sign letters all at once.
Yeah.
In practice, this does not work. As a hospital, in practice, this does not work, as the hospital will not increase the time allowed between each patient. So I have had to abandon it. Any and this is where my dyslexia gets a small issue, because I've forgotten what I'm reading.
Carry on, you're doing good.
Okay, so any implementation of the system must take account of this and the issues,
Yeah.
and the extra time to learn how to use it in the system and in the clinic.
Yeah.
In the system in the clinic, and unfortunately, this is why this was not my experience. So I think that's more of a feedback and
Yeah. No,
than a question.
Yeah, no, it's thank you very much for the feedback. I mean, I'm glad to hear that you had been using it and it was great. Your point about the kind of the change in the responsibility of creating that document in some cases does change. So earlier in the presentation, I talked about dictation. So a doctor would typically just dictate a letter, and then the sound file gets given to a secretary, and then the responsibility to create that letter, have it printed, enter it into a patient system, whatever it might be, is then with somebody else to organize. The biggest point, though, about using Dragon Medical is that the end-to-end, the point of the doctor themselves doing the diagnosis and speaking that out loud to the letter being ready is quicker using speech recognition than it will be. So I appreciate the comment there that the doctors just said that they're not given the time to do that extra entering of data using speech recognition. The hospital will still be suffering, though, with the time that whole that letter, that if it's a letter, for example, that will still be taking longer. And if they had implemented it better and given the doctors slightly more time, another minute per patient, then they're able to very quickly enter that information, and then everything's ready to go. So it is a comment I've heard before from other hospitals where there's been a change in where the information is entered and who by. And as I said earlier, there's a lot of doctors who have been asked to type that information in themselves, and so speech recognition immediately speeds that whole process up. Yeah, we are getting there, and the hospitals and GP practices that have embraced speech recognition have drastically reduced how much time it takes to produce each letter, each referral letter, enter information directly into a patient system, compared to if they were either typing themselves or using dictation.
Yeah, I have seen it. I've seen it in for many years. Me and my wife have spent a lot of time in the hospital for certain reasons, and I've had a number of conversations with the consultants about them using their and I'll say that it was an Olympus microphone, and they are literally opening Dragon on their computer and dictating it into the system of what they've told us. And actually, the one thing that I thought was quite interesting from that is that the system then creates a letter rather than having to put it into Word. Once they've put the information in there, it then creates it from there. So I think just going on that question, and before I ask you the next question, I have a question for you. So as a previous Dragon user, as a user of Dragon, we have to train Dragon. How does that work in a hospital situation in that sense? Is the profile roaming? Is the profile connected to the user? How does that kind of bit work? Is it connected to their lanyard? I know they have to scan their card to access it. How does that concept work with Dragon Medical? Because I know with Dragon Professional it can be quite difficult.
Yeah, so Aaron, that's an absolutely fantastic question. So the way that Dragon Medical Practice Edition works is that every doctor has their own profile. So Dragon then learns how each doctor speaks, inclination of the voice, combinations of words that are spoken, and all of those things continue to improve the accuracy. So out of the box, as we call it in software, from the very first day you install the current version, the accuracy is fantastic. Then it just continues to improve. how that then follows you around the hospital or around your GP practice is there's a feature called roaming profiles. And then your profile that has all of your information in can be stored centrally, and then you can go to any computer on your network where the software is installed, and you log in with your name, and then away you go. So obviously in medical environments, it's so much more common for the users to not have their own desk. It's not like the legal market where every solicitor is sitting at their own desk on the same computer all day, every day. In healthcare, people are all over the hospital, different departments, different buildings, different consulting rooms, and they need to just be able to log in. So all of that is possible with Dragon Medical. Just to sum that up, everyone has their own profile. It learns how they speak, and they can use it on any computer in their network.
That and is that easier from an IT point of view than it would be for, say, having it with Dragon Professional? Has Nuance made it a little bit easier because of the environment?
Yeah, it is very easy. Yeah, when you actually open the software, you log in, and so with Dragon Medical 4, the practice or the hospital buys, a number of licenses, and then you can assign those to logins. So we normally use the email address of each of the users, and then they just log in with a password as well, just to keep everything secure, and then they access the software. So the software hasn't got to be set up dozens and dozens and dozens of times at every machine for every single user that might possibly use it. You can push the software out centrally to all of the computers. You create the profiles, they're available centrally, and then any doctor can go to any computer that they've never used before and log in and use their profile.
No, it's interesting to see. I love how companies innovate to move things forward. I think it was 6 years ago when I put Dragon Group into school, and trying to save the profile centrally took us a small amount of coding and kind of reworking different devices. It was quite good fun for me.
Yeah,
So,
well, as I said, the medical version is designed for the healthcare market.
No.
Yeah, and this is yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah. We've got a couple of questions going. We've got some more time. So this is a really good question. So, can Dragon Anywhere be used in a clinical environment? So that's a very specific. That's a different product, but it is
a very different product. Yeah, it's a good question. Dragon Professional Anywhere is another solution from Nuance. It's a cloud-based solution that is not suitable or allowed to be used in the healthcare market. That product is for every other market possible, but just not healthcare. So you need to use Practice Edition there.
Okay. So, so do you recommend? Another question. Do you recommend any?
Yes.
hardware to use with Dragon Medical? I am.
Okay.
I'm trying to read the word. Sorry. I'm a paramedic with a rugged laptop, but it has a poor quality microphone built in.
Okay. Well, yeah, the two options there really are some sort of headset. Whether you can use a headset plugged in like I am today. Most headsets, the sound quality coming through them is very high, and it reduces background noise. If you're out in the field and dictating and there's a lot of noise going on, then that would be good. Or the handheld microphones, which I think, hang on, let me just get you out of here. I hid the slide, but yeah, this device here, this is when I was talking about handheld microphones. This is what I was talking about. So this one's actually an Olympus product, but as I say, Nuance, Philips, and Grundig all make one. They all look quite similar, but the purpose of it is you've got an excellent microphone built in here, and then you've got controls. So this red button there turns the Dragon Medical on and off. So it listens to you and then stops listening to you. And all of those products are designed for speech recognition, captures a really high quality of sound, and then helps with the accuracy with Dragon.
And I think they also have a special wipeable shield on the Olympus ones, I believe, because of being in medical. and I can't remember. I was told
Yeah,
the
so
reason
yeah,
I know
it's
that is I have one in front of me. I've got
antimicrobial, I think is the
that's
phrase.
the
Yeah.
one. That's the one. Yeah, I have the
Mm,
RM4100S Olympus microphone on my other computer that I
oh,
use to dictate.
yeah.
Olympus
Yes.
Olympus
Yes.
let me borrow it, so I have one that I've been using for a few months. Uh, so it's
Yeah.
I find them very
So yeah,
useful.
so I would say any kind of decent headset, or one of the handheld microphones, and that also to say that because you've got the buttons on there to turn the microphone on and off, it just makes it so much easier. And all of those products are designed for speech recognition. So yeah, they're designed to do that job, and they're tough as well. You can bash them around.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have knocked it off a few times, so it
Yeah.
works fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Good.
sorry, Olympus. I have this is being recorded, but hey ho, let's okay. So this is a really good question. This is an interesting question. So,
Yeah.
is there a manual is there a manual or handbook on how to use Dragon Professional? I had some training, but I didn't feel it was enough to help me understand how it works. So,
Okay.
is there any kind of like hints or tips that you can point people to, like things like
Yeah.
using
Within
commands?
Yeah, I mean, I would always encourage people to, get support from the reseller that they bought the product from. Companies like Dyslexia Box and other specialist speech recognition companies are all experts in speech recognition, and so they are kind of the best people to get information from, and how to use the product, how to add words and improve accuracy. Within the software itself, this is a bit dangerous to do it live now, but I think there is there's lots of help tips within the actual application itself. So yeah, I haven't been in this for a long time, so I can't remember what's in here, but yeah, tips for how to dictate text and all those sorts of things. So edit and make corrections, and what you can do in other applications. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff built in, and Dragon Professional is the same. But there is nothing better really than having a good training session from a specialist like Dyslexia Box, who can sit down. Well, I was going to say sit down with you, but those days are not with us at the moment, are they? But
No.
certainly do a remote session and just walk you through all the different things. And actually, it's actually a good question that person's brought up, because we also do recommend that you get another training session within weeks of starting to use it, because generally what happens is you might be shown 60% of the capability of the application, and especially if no one's used it before, it can be a bit overwhelming, trying to remember what this command does and how do I change that and how do I correct it. But then within a few weeks of using the application, everyone's a bit more confident with the software. And then maybe you've then got some questions like this person has here of like, well, I really want to be able to do that. And can I do this with the application? Can I control this? And how do I do that? And so sometimes then if you then just have another sort of quick session with the service provider, then they can answer your specific questions after you've been using it. So that's always a good thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I remember that I was a 2-year Dragon user, just using the dictation function, and
Yeah.
then got my DSA for my OU course, and had my training, and I never knew about the stored commands. You can put in your my commands,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and saved me on a number of occasions. I had to do a lot for the OU, put my address and my OU number, and I
Yeah.
could not remember this OU number, and I just
Yeah.
go my OU, and it would literally then put the number in, and it was just
Yeah.
like it was one of the best things that I
That's
ever
right.
found. It is.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, that's what I hope to show you in that demo today,
yeah,
just where we can just say a command and some text drops in. So if that's
yeah,
something that the doctor says 30 times a day,
yeah,
you've just saved hours.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
makes a really, really big difference.
yeah. So This is a good question. Does the training need to be specialist in the product, so like Dragon, medical, or just in Dragon? So
Yeah, good question. Thank you for that. Most of the functions are the same across the product sets, whether it's Dragon Professional or Dragon Medical. Obviously, the big difference with medical is the engine. So because of the language that healthcare people are dictating with terminology and medicine names, then medical version is the right version because it supports all of that. But in terms of, how you dictate, how you add a new word into the vocabulary, how you create auto text and commands, that's the same across all of the applications.
no, that's brilliant. Okay, so there's no more questions for you now, Darren. So thank you so much. I'm going to end the session now a little bit earlier. Amazing session,
Okay.
really useful information. Like I said, if you need any more information, right, go to Andy at Dyslexia Box.
Yep.
Looking forward to our next session with Donna Stevens from the British Dyslexia Association, and then we will have our last session at 4 o'clock with Mary Wilcox from Claro Software. So thank you again. I'm going to end the session for everyone. Thank you, Darren. Most appreciate everyone. Looking forward to seeing
Thank you
everyone.
very much, everybody.
Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.